What does it truly take for a nation to break free from hunger and dependence? To stand on its own, confident that it can feed its people with food grown by its own hands? Burkina Faso, a resilient West African country, is answering that question in real time. At a critical moment in its history, one marked by crisis, insecurity, and political change, it has decided to bet on its land, its farmers, and its future. Under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the country is pursuing a bold and transformative mission to achieve food sovereignty. This isn't just a farming project, it's a national revolution in how Burkina Faso sees itself. It's about taking back control, one seed, one tractor, one harvest at a time. Stick with us, because in this video, we're going deep into the roots of Burkina Faso's agricultural rebirth. And if you care about stories of resilience, innovation, and African nations writing their own success stories, this one's for you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you find this story as inspiring. Before we start, let's look at the root of the problem and see why hunger still haunts Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is a landlocked country located in the heart of West Africa. With a population of around 22 million people, nearly 80% of them depend on agriculture to survive. Yet for decades, the country has faced an uphill battle to produce enough food for its people. Why? It's a complex mix of political instability, conflict, climate change, and economic inequality. Let's rewind to 2014. That year marked the fall of President Ibrahim Traoré, who ruled the country for 27 years. His ousting brought a wave of hope, but it also opened the floodgates to political unrest. As power changed hands, extremist groups, especially those tied to Al-Qaeda and ISIS, began pouring into Burkina Faso from neighboring Mali and Niger. What followed was devastating. Over 2 million people were displaced from their homes, farmlands were abandoned, entire communities collapsed under the weight of insecurity, schools closed, markets crumbled, people fled to safer regions or lived in makeshift camps, unable to grow or buy enough food. And then, in January 2022, another military coup added even more uncertainty. The civilian government was overthrown, and once again, the country found itself in crisis. This was the backdrop, a nation where people were hungry, scared, and unsure of what tomorrow would bring. But in the midst of this chaos, a new kind of leadership emerged. In September 2022, a young army captain named Ibrahim Traoré stepped into power after yet another coup. He was just 34 years old, the youngest head of state in the world at the time. But age aside, he brought with him a bold, clear message. Burkina Faso must become self-reliant, and it must start with food. Captain Traoré didn't come with vague promises or speeches. Instead, he introduced a concrete plan that placed agriculture at the center of national transformation. He launched what is now known as the Presidential Initiative for Food, Self-Sufficiency, and Sovereignty, a full-scale campaign aimed at helping Burkina Faso grow enough food for all its people without needing foreign aid or imports. He saw food not just as a necessity but as a foundation of national pride. A hungry nation, he argued, cannot be free. But a nation that feeds itself can rise, defend itself, and grow. To turn this vision into reality, Traoré's government rolled out what it called an agricultural offensive. This wasn't symbolic. It was strategic, targeted, and financially backed by real resources. The government allocated over 104 billion CFA francs, that's roughly $180 million USD, to jumpstart this transformation. These funds were used to empower farmers directly and to modernize Burkina Faso's agriculture in 4 powerful ways. Firstly, the mechanization of agriculture. Over 400 tractors, 239 power tillers, and 710 motor pumps were deployed across farming zones. These machines helped farmers work larger plots faster and more efficiently. For a country where much of the work had been done by hand or with animals, this marked a revolutionary leap. Secondly, there is massive input distribution. The government supplied 15,000 tons of seeds, fertilizers, and pesticides to tens of thousands of farmers. For many who had been displaced or impoverished by conflict, this was their first opportunity in years to restart farming with quality inputs. Thirdly, we have water and irrigation infrastructure. Recognizing the country's reliance on rain-fed agriculture, the plan also prioritized building irrigation systems and expanding access to motorized pumps. In semi-arid zones, access to water often means the difference between success and starvation. And then there is the agro-processing and value addition. To prevent post-harvest losses and add value to raw produce, the initiative also focused on processing plants for grains, vegetables, and oils. These plants not only preserved food, but also created jobs in rural areas, boosting the local economy. But beyond equipment and infrastructure, something even more powerful was being built: a sense of hope. How are communities transforming from this initiative? To fully understand, let's zoom in on a place like Bagre, located in the Centre-Est region of Burkina Faso. This area has always been fertile, but it was also deeply affected by displacement. Thousands of people who fled extremist violence in the north arrived in this region with almost nothing. Thanks to the agricultural offensive, many of these displaced families were given seeds, land access, and tools to start farming again. Local reports show that some farmers have doubled or even tripled their land usage compared to the previous year. In some areas, cereal production has jumped by over 50%. In many villages, the government worked with community leaders to organize cooperatives and shared labor programs. These helped reduce costs and improve harvest efficiency. This wasn't just about feeding bellies, it was about rebuilding lives. And interestingly, the initiative is starting to revive the legacy of Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso's revolutionary leader in the 1980s. Sankara famously said, "He who feeds you controls you." Traoré's food sovereignty plan echoes that belief, rekindling a spirit of national self-worth that many felt had been lost. Another huge benefit of the agricultural offensive has been its effect on employment. In a country where youth unemployment is dangerously high, this initiative is creating thousands of jobs, not just in farming, but in transport, machinery repair, food processing, and irrigation maintenance. By training young people to manage tractors, work in cooperatives, and even sell processed food products, the program is opening doors to new livelihoods. And when people have jobs and food, they're far less likely to be recruited by extremist groups. So in many ways, this isn't just an agricultural initiative, it's a national security strategy. Burkina Faso is still facing enormous obstacles. But for the first time in years, many citizens feel that real change is not only possible, it's already happening. And at the center of that transformation is a simple yet powerful idea: food sovereignty. The road ahead will not be easy, but Burkina Faso is showing Africa and the world that even in the face of crisis, a nation can rise through unity, purpose, and self-reliance. Let's take a moment to look at the role of technology and innovation in agricultural upliftment. As the government deepens its efforts to modernize farming, technology is becoming an indispensable tool. One of the most transformative moves has been the adoption of precision agriculture, where drones and digital mapping tools help farmers identify the best areas to plant, assess soil quality, and monitor crop health in real time. These innovations are especially helpful in a country where climate unpredictability and degraded soils are major hurdles. Mobile applications have also started to make their way into Burkina Faso's farming communities. These apps provide localized weather forecasts, market prices, and planting calendars, giving farmers the knowledge to make smarter decisions. By integrating low-cost but impactful digital tools, even smallholder farmers can now operate more efficiently, reducing waste and increasing yields. To support this, training programs are being conducted nationwide. Agricultural extension workers are deployed to remote areas, teaching farmers how to use tractors, operate irrigation systems, and apply fertilizers correctly. These educators serve as a bridge between policy and practice, ensuring that the benefits of innovation reach those who need them most. Another important but often overlooked aspect of Burkina Faso's agricultural revival is the central role of women. Women constitute nearly half of the agricultural workforce, yet historically they've had limited access to land ownership, farming equipment, and credit facilities. Under the presidential initiative, specific attention has been given to empowering women farmers. The government has designated parcels of land exclusively for women-led cooperatives. These groups are given tools, inputs, and training to ensure their productivity matches that of male-led enterprises. Microloans and savings groups have also been established to support women entrepreneurs in the agricultural value chain, whether in production, processing, or retail. The impact is already being felt. In communities like Kudugu and Zinyere, women's farming cooperatives are now producing enough food not only to feed their families, but to sell surplus in regional markets. This added income is reinvested into education, healthcare, and business expansion, creating a ripple effect that benefits entire communities. While modern tools and techniques are crucial, Burkina Faso's transformation also leans on its cultural heritage. Traditional farming practices, such as zai pits and stone buns, are being revived and blended with modern techniques. These age-old methods help conserve water, restore soil fertility, and fight desertification. Zai pits, for example, are small holes dug into the hard Sahelian soil to collect water and compost. Once seen as outdated, they're now recognized as a brilliant adaptation to climate challenges. Studies have shown that these techniques can boost yields by over 500% in degraded lands. Government agricultural advisors now encourage farmers to combine zai techniques with modern seeds and organic compost, leading to a productive fusion of tradition and science. This balanced approach also respects the identity of rural communities. It recognizes that progress doesn't always mean erasing the past. It can mean improving upon it. At the heart of Burkina Faso's agricultural revolution is a broader goal: building a resilient food system that can withstand future shocks. The country isn't just producing more food, it's creating networks of support to stabilize food supply and prevent future crises. One key strategy has been the establishment of community granaries. These storage facilities allow farmers to keep surplus grains safely and sell them when market prices are favorable. It also means that during dry seasons or times of crisis, communities have food reserves to fall back on. Food cooperatives are also springing up in many regions. These groups allow farmers to pool resources, negotiate better prices for inputs, and collectively market their produce. This cooperative model reduces individual risk and builds collective strength. In addition, the government is working with local food processors to reduce post-harvest losses, which can claim up to 30% of crops in rural Africa. Investments in drying machines, storage units, and packaging equipment are helping farmers preserve more of their harvest and add value before taking products to market. Who are the strategic partners supporting Burkina Faso in this initiative? Burkina Faso's vision of food sovereignty is not a solitary journey. The country is actively seeking and building partnerships with regional and international organizations that share its goals. Organizations such as the African Development Bank, WOEFDB, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, BIFAD, and the Food and Agriculture Organization, UFAO, are supporting Burkina Faso's agricultural programs through funding, technical assistance, and capacity building. These collaborations help ensure that the country's agricultural policies align with broader regional goals, such as the African Union's Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program, CAADP. Additionally, Burkina Faso is working with neighboring countries in the Sahel region to develop shared approaches to water management, pest control, and climate-smart agriculture. This cross-border collaboration recognizes that environmental and food challenges do not respect borders, and that cooperation is key to sustainable progress. For Burkina Faso to sustain its agricultural gains, it must engage its youth. With nearly 65% of the population under the age of 25, the country's future lies in the hands of its young people. Yet, for years, farming was viewed as a last resort, dirty, difficult, and unrewarding. The new initiative seeks to change this perception. Through school garden programs, youth-led agricultural enterprises, and government-backed internships, the message is clear: farming is the future. Young entrepreneurs are being encouraged to see agriculture not just as labor, but as business. Agritech startups are emerging in cities like Ouagadougou, developing solutions tailored to Burkina Faso's unique farming needs. Whether it's a mobile app for pest control or a solar-powered irrigation system, these youth-driven innovations are injecting energy into the sector. Vocational training centers are also being revamped to offer courses in modern farming, agribusiness, management, and equipment repair. By equipping young people with the skills and resources they need, Burkina Faso is sowing the seeds for long-term agricultural success. No agricultural revolution can succeed without caring for the environment. Burkina Faso is acutely aware of this and is actively embedding sustainability into its food systems. Agroforestry, a method that integrates trees and crops, is being promoted as a way to improve soil health and reduce erosion. In areas like the Central Plateau, farmers are being incentivized to plant native species like the baobab and moringa alongside their crops. These trees provide shade, improve biodiversity, and in some cases, offer additional food or medicinal products. The government is also encouraging organic farming and the use of biopesticides to reduce chemical pollution. Farmers are trained in composting and crop rotation techniques that naturally boost soil fertility. Furthermore, by shifting away from purely rain-fed agriculture and investing in irrigation, Burkina Faso is reducing its vulnerability to droughts and climate change. Burkina Faso's agricultural revolution is more than just a national project. It's a symbol of strength, resilience, and self-determination. From tractors in the fields to farmers building a better tomorrow, every seed planted carries the hope of a sovereign future. While the road ahead is still full of challenges, the progress so far proves that change is possible when vision meets action. If this story moved you or sparked new ideas about what food independence means for a nation, we invite you to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content from across Africa and the world.